The myths and truths surrounding the epidemic of homelessness. While the causes of homelessness are numerous and complex, the top 4 causes in order are the lack of affordable housing, unemployment, poverty, and low wages. Well, people struggle every day. They struggle to be able to afford housing, to find solid employment that will provide a living wage, or even to ensure that there will be enough food on their table for their families. Homelessness is nothing new to the world, and we've always had those that have struggled to keep a roof over their heads. But the number of our fellow citizens who are living on the streets or in shelters in the United States continues to rise at alarming rates. We all know that homelessness is not pretty, it is not clean, it's considered an eyesore in many of the neighborhoods and cities across the country. But to the people who are experiencing homelessness, it's particularly degrading because they're continuously judged by those who have homes or opportunities. What we're going to focus on in this video specifically are some of the myths and misconceptions about homelessness in the United States. What I hope to bring attention to is the horrible situation that too many of our fellow citizens are living in, and perhaps change the perceptions that some have about those who are struggling to survive. So let's get started. Myth number 1. People choose to be homeless. The truth is, people experience homelessness when all other options have been exhausted. Some of the obstacles that may lead to experiencing homelessness include, but are not limited to, eviction due to financial instability or low income levels, the affordable housing crisis including gentrification, and coping with mental illness or addictions. This makes it difficult to maintain independent housing. Myth number 2. People who are homeless must be lazy. The truth is, people that are homeless often work harder than others throughout the day and do not have time to be lazy. When people are faced with homelessness, their main concerns are where will they sleep that night? When will they eat their next meal? Will they be able to find work in order to pay for any of it? It's important to note that those who don't have homes weren't always homeless. When someone doesn't have access to a phone, internet, or even a fixed address, finding employment is going to be that much more difficult. Myth 2.5. Homeless people just need to get a job. The truth is, there is a significant portion of homeless people that do have jobs. They just can't afford to pay rent because of recent rent increases, inflation, the cost of living increases, and stagnant wages. Some even subsist on Social Security or disability income due to physical or mental health problems and can't afford rent. There are many hurdles or complications in finding permanent work with a livable wage for people that are homeless. Some of the more obvious reasons are not having a permanent address, basic clean clothes, a place to shower, shave, or even getting a fresh haircut. And along with the simple fact that most people or businesses just don't want to hire those that are homeless. Myth number 3. All people who are homeless are addicts. The truth is, only a percentage of those who are homeless deal with addiction. Just like in the general population, according to Homeless Hub, only a small percentage will deal with addiction when homeless. Other key factors that play into homelessness are traumas, such as emotional, physical, or sexual abuse, surviving natural disasters, divorce, or bullying, mental illness such as depression, schizophrenia, bipolar disorders, dementia, or PTSD. Myth number 4. Homeless people are dangerous and violent. The truth is, those who are homeless are far more likely to be victims of violence than to be perpetrators. While there are always those who commit acts of violence, most homeless persons commit violent acts in self-defense. It happens, but is rare, that a homeless person will violently prey on other homeless people. This is something that housed people really should try to understand. Myth number 5. Homeless persons are criminals. The truth is, those who are homeless are more likely to have criminal justice intervention due to the life that they live and their daily survival activities. They are usually given a summons or arrested for minor offenses such as trespassing, littering, or loitering. An investigation by Melissa Lewis at Reveal found police in West Coast cities arrest homeless people at disproportionate rates. According to Reveal, neighborhood outcry is fueling the vast criminalization of homeless for largely nonviolent violations. The majority of the time, police receive reports about homeless people. They aren't crimes, but are reports of homeless persons acting suspiciously, or for welfare checks. These calls often end in an arrest of a homeless person just the same, and often for old infractions or low-level warrants. Myth number 6. The homeless spend all their money on drugs or alcohol. The truth is, most of their money goes to buying food and amenities such as socks, hygiene products, and bottled water. Although some do spend money on alcohol and drugs, it's usually as a way to self-medicate, for moments of peace, or to forget their plight for a time. The same can be said for many Americans. Myth number 7. The homeless are not part of our community. The truth is, 70 to 80% of homeless persons are from the local area or live there for at least a year or more before becoming homeless. Myth number 8. It is impossible to find enough housing for homeless individuals and families. The truth is, there are over 16 million homes that are sitting vacant across the U.S. and 45,000 U.S. government-owned, underused, and underutilized buildings. With a total of nearly 500,000 people who are experiencing homelessness every day, it seems to be plenty of space that could be used to house those who are struggling. In fact, Title V of McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act enables eligible organizations to use unutilized, underutilized, excess, and surplus federal properties to assist persons experiencing homelessness. Each Friday, HUD publishes a suitability determination listing on the HUD Exchange, identifying available, unutilized, underutilized, excess, and surplus properties. And as of August 12, 2022, through Title V of the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act, the U.S. Coast Guard property located in Redmond, Washington was granted to the city of Redmond. This is to provide emergency housing, transitional housing, and case management, and they have since obtained funding for the renovations. Now let's talk about gentrification and the housing crisis in the U.S. These are a couple of terms that were used in this video. So first, gentrification. Across the country, gentrification has been a thing that many look forward to because it will attract more money and business to areas that were previously considered poverty level or low-income areas. The trend today seems to be big companies buying up trailer parks, one of the last bastions of affordable living in the country. These companies come in, they raise the rents and implement new charges and taxes, knowing full well that the people living there will be unable to pay more than they are already paying, thus displacing them. These people now have an option to either live in their cars, on the streets, in shelters, or low-cost motels. I think you get the point. And all because a big company wants to come in and make money. Sadly, this happens all over the US. For more information, I recommend a couple of shows by Vice. America's last affordable housing is under threat, and renters in America are running out of options. I understand that it isn't all doom and gloom. Some of those that are displaced may be fortunate enough to qualify for assistance. There are many organizations and charities that will assist when people are struggling. But these organizations are only stopgaps and are not meant for long term. When a home is lost, it is a major setback for people, sometimes taking years to get back on track. Next, let's briefly touch on the housing crisis in the U.S. Some would argue that the high cost of housing supplies is an impetus for high rent, and the causal effect is a lack of new homes and thus a hike in prices for homes that already exist. Others still would argue it is simple capitalism. Those who own homes, properties, or trailer parks as rentals are able to use the many loopholes embedded in our legal system to make more money. And money is power, and those with it are usually the ones that come out on top. And those without are often left out in the cold. Thanks for watching. I hope you take what was discussed in this video and expand on it for yourself. It is never my intention to dictate the beliefs or thoughts of anyone else, and all the information used in this video will be shared down below in the description box. I welcome any comments or thoughts that you might have and encourage everyone to research for themselves.